All right. Hello, everyone out here on Instagram. Guess what? This is my very first Instagram Live. I have never done this before, but I just got off of a Facebook live stream. And the original plan was to actually live stream simultaneously, but again, technical difficulties, that didn't work out. So I decided to jump on here. Oh my goodness, I see some friends of mine. Hey, El Boogie and Noelle, my boo, are here. How's everybody doing tonight? I am going to jump on just for a short period of time here to deliver my live stream to you once again. I hope everybody is having a good night. Happy Sunday to you. Hope you guys have had another good week. But I wanted to jump. We're back. Okay, had connection issues. Wanted to jump on tonight. Thank you so much, El Boogie, for tuning in. We are doing a quick live stream here on Instagram. You guys are all a part of my very first Instagram Live. I feel so special. But for those of you who do not know who I am Dr. Rene, MD, board certified family medicine physician, and I have some great information for you tonight. You know, I usually am over on Facebook on Sunday evenings doing my live streams, and I wanted to jump onto Instagram and try this for the first time. So we are going to have a quick discussion tonight about diabetes home care during COVID-19. Maybe you have diabetes, maybe you know someone that has diabetes, and obviously most of us are still dealing with a shelter-in-place order. So how do we cope with having diabetes during the time of COVID-19? What are some ways that we can help keep ourselves healthy and take care of ourselves so we can manage our diabetes effectively while we are at home? So we're going to go ahead and dive right in. Of course, it's probably not a surprise to a lot of you that millions of Americans have diabetes. There's even a very, very large number of people that have diabetes and don't even know that they have it. And so that can pose for some serious problems. I get asked a lot too, if I have diabetes, does that automatically mean I'm going to get COVID-19? The answer to that question is no. Having diabetes does not automatically equal I am going to get COVID-19. What it does mean, or what it can mean, is that having diabetes can actually place you at an increased risk, okay, for having serious complications of COVID-19, including death, okay? So diabetes, particularly if you have poor glycemic control, meaning you do not have your blood sugars under control, that actually can weaken your immune system. And a weakened immune system places you at increased risk for infection, including viruses, and that includes Rona, okay? The other thing, too, that can affect people during this time with diabetes, hey, Olga, how's it going, is stress. Who isn't under a lot of stress right now during this time, between worried about whether I'm going to get coronavirus, have I gotten corona, didn't know about it. Some of you are healthcare workers and are walking into the front lines every single day with coronavirus. I know that is the case for myself and some of my friends and colleagues, but obviously being under increased stress can increase one's blood sugars, okay, particularly thanks to that cortisol reaction. So another helpful tip that I wanted to share with all of you too, I'm not sure if any of you out there that do have diabetes or your loved one who has diabetes uses a continuous glucose monitor, or a CGM. Those are the little devices that stick onto your skin like the Freestyle Libre. Those have actually been shown to cause a false elevation in your blood sugar readings if you are using one of those continuous glucose monitoring devices and are taking Tylenol. So this is key, because I know there's been a lot of talk about not using ibuprofen if you have coronavirus or are suspected to have coronavirus, because that can increase risk for complications. So what did everybody go out and do? Everybody ran out and grabbed Tylenol, or acetaminophen is the generic name. So something to keep in mind if you are diabetic and use one of those continuous glucose monitors and you're using Tylenol at the same time, you might be getting falsely elevated blood sugar readings. So something to keep in mind. All right, so let's get into the nitty gritty while you guys are tuning in tonight. You're saying, Dr. Rene, now what can I do? Either I have diabetes or I know someone that has diabetes and I need a game plan to help me care for my diabetes at home. All right, so tip number one, I want you to know your numbers. Not just your blood sugar numbers, because that's kind of the default and the easy thing, but you need to know your numbers to your doctor, your primary care provider, if you have an endocrinologist or a diabetes specialist. Know those numbers as well. Write those down and have those handy. Maybe you have a diabetes educator. Have that number handy. The number to your nearest hospital or the hospital that you go to if you've been hospitalized before. The number to your pharmacy is another great number to have handy and ready to go. You don't want to wait for something bad to happen. God forbid you get coronavirus or get ill with something else, but you don't want to be frantic and running around trying to get numbers to your doctors, to your specialist, to your diabetes educator. Okay, so write those numbers down, keep them handy, keep them by your nightstand or keep them on the fridge, type them up and put them in your phone if need be, but make sure you keep those numbers handy. Tip number two is stock up. What I mean by this is stocking up on your diabetes medications, actually all of your medications if you're on other things other than diabetes medications. Make sure you keep your medications in a good supply. Call your pharmacist, call your doctor. See if you have a refill that's available. Go get your meds filled, okay? Even if you already have existing medication, because that way it will eliminate you having to make another trip out. Ask for a 90-day supply of your medication if at all possible, because that way you will not have to be under increased stress or worried about getting out to get your medications. Maybe your pharmacy offers a delivery service. I know most pharmacies do. If you're not signed up for a delivery service, now is a great time to call and see if you can get your medications switched over to a delivery service so you don't have to worry about going out or putting yourself at risk for coming in contact with coronavirus. The other thing that you guys should be stocking up on too, if you're diabetic or if your loved one is diabetic, you may want to share this with them. Make sure that they keep a good handy supply of their diabetes testing supplies. Test strips, lancets, even the rubbing alcohol, whether it's in the bottle or if it is in the little pads, okay, making sure that you have things to keep your hands and your fingers clean. By all means, this will be my disclaimer, okay? I know someone who resides at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue in a big white house has hinted or made suggestions that, you can kill off coronavirus by injecting bleach or Lysol or Clorox. No. That is a big no. Under no circumstances should you be drinking bleach, injecting bleach, drinking Lysol, Clorox, anything of that nature. That is all for external use only. So I know you guys are a smart audience and I know you know that, but I just want to put that little caveat in. The other thing too that I wanted to share with you, this is a stressful time for a lot of folks. A lot of you may be under financial constraints right now. I pray that this is not your case, but it might be the case. Some of you may have lost a job, maybe you've been furloughed, you have financial worries, you're trying to redirect money elsewhere to help pay for a mortgage or rent or a car payment or even put food on the table. And a lot of times our paying for medications goes on the back burner. So make sure if you are having financial worries, I want you to reach out to your doctor, reach out to your pharmacist. Okay, there's lots of prescription assistance programs available. Your doctor may have some information about that. Your pharmacist may have information about that. GoodRx is another option. I am not working for GoodRx. I do not get any money from GoodRx. I don't get kickbacks. I'm just here to share information, but I also know that is another resource for you as well to help get a discount on your medication. For those of you that are on insulin, insulin can be extremely, extremely expensive. You can check out the website www.insulinhelp.org. Let me see if I can put this in the chat. While I am living with you all here, www.insulinhelp.org. Okay. That is a great resource that can help you get more information about getting reduced cost insulin or getting insulin for free. Another good option too, you might want to reach out to your manufacturer, your insulin manufacturer, whoever that may be. Eli Lilly, Novo Nordisk, whoever whatever the case is, reach out to them. A lot of them are probably offering some assistance because they understand a lot of their patients are under financial hardship, during this time. All right, tip number 3, be food secure, not food insecure, but food secure. Please don't wait till the last minute to do your grocery shopping. Now, if you're like me, I used to love grocery shopping, and now all of a sudden grocery shopping has become a chore. It has to be very much thought out and planned out. The grocery store that's right around the corner for me now has a line wrapped around. They're staggering folks, so they're not allowing a bunch of people in at the same time. I get it. That's great because we need to keep ourselves safe, but that is now putting a lot of folks under increased stress. When you're diabetic, you don't want any extra stress on your body. You don't want to have to be worrying about, do I have enough food or do you have enough of the right food? So plan ahead. Don't wait till the last minute to go grocery shopping. If at all possible, use a grocery delivery service. Instacart is a great one. Again, I'm not getting paid by Instacart. I'm just merely sharing information with you all. If you trust, have a friend, a family member, a neighbor, obviously making sure they're not ill with COVID or having any symptoms, but they can also help you out and do your grocery shopping for you. Make sure that you stock up on healthy foods. So fresh is best. Fresh fruits, fresh vegetables. If you can't do fresh, the next best step is frozen. But if at all possible, try to stay away from the canned foods. I know that's kind of contradictory to what a lot of people on the news media might be saying because canned foods have a long, stable shelf life. But in order for that food to be able to sit in that can on that shelf, chances are what happened is they pumped it full of fat, salt, sugar, chemicals, preservatives, something you can't pronounce, and therefore the nutritional value goes down. So don't wait till the last minute to grocery shop. Get help with your grocery shopping, either a delivery service, ask a friend, neighbor, family member, and make sure that you stock up on healthy foods. I always say eat healthy, but also eat happy. Make sure you're enjoying what you're eating. And by all means, if at all possible, please limit your intake of the refined carbohydrates and sugars, high fructose corn syrup, etc. Okay. Tip number four, this really plays into tip number 3, which is monitor overeating. I know everybody's watching TV, we're Netflixing, we're vegging out, and that tends to promote excess caloric consumption. Most of us are getting bombarded with food ads for everything: pop, chips, cookies, ice cream, fast food, pizza, buckets of chicken, you name it. I hardly see an advertisement for a kale smoothie late at night watching TV. So make sure that you are not falling victim to this, okay? The more we tend to sit and veg out in front of a television or now a computer screen, the more we tend to overeat. That overeating can lead to excess calories, which can raise your blood sugars, okay? Tip number 5 is to get in motion. So any type of physical activity, I say do something that you love. It will not feel like exercise. Physical activity is great, whether you have diabetes or not, but particularly if you have diabetes, because it increases your blood circulation. It increases your blood flow to your tissues and your organs. And inside that blood, obviously, is what we need: oxygen, nutrients. And to be able to have an increased delivery of that oxygen and nutrients to our tissues just leads to better health overall. Hey, Dr. Rita, thanks so much for tuning in. The other thing, too, the other benefit of exercise is that it makes us feel better, okay? Particularly because that increased blood flow to our brain actually speeds up or promotes production of neurotransmitters. Those are the little chemical signals that our brain cells, what we call our neurons, release to communicate from one cell to the next. So you may have heard the terms dopamine, glutamate, serotonin. These are all neurotransmitters that our brain releases during exercise to help improve how we feel. That's why a lot of times when people say, I have depression, I don't feel good, I'm down in the dumps, what do most people recommend a lot of times? That you go out and that you exercise. Hey, Dr. Sonia, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. I really appreciate it. Thank you, ladies. So make sure you move your body, even if something as little as 10 minutes, 15 minutes, the more you can do, the better is great. Now you might be saying, hey, Dr. Rene, but I don't like working out. I've never worked out, or I don't have a gym. You know my motto, no gym, no problem. That's absolutely okay. There's a ton of things you can do at home. If you have a house, I take it you have stairs unless you have an elevator. But most people in a house with 2 stories or a upper level and a lower level going into a basement have a set of stairs. That is a fantastic workout right there. Put your shoes on. You can go up and down the stairs. You can do squats up the stairs, down the stairs. You can skip stairs, okay? So do like every other one. That gives you a good glute workout for your rear end, your hamstrings, and your glutes. I always say make a game out of it, okay? If you don't like to exercise, and I get it, because it can be hard. If you're sitting there in front of the television watching TV, there's going to be a commercial break. There's going to be several commercial breaks. That is a fantastic time for you to get up and exercise. Each commercial break is probably, 1 minute to 3 minutes each. Make a game out of it. Every time a commercial break comes on, get up, run those stairs. If you don't have stairs, you can easily do walking lunges. You can do squats. You can do sit-ups. You can do push-ups, jumping jacks, anything of that nature. It's all physical activity. Over time, if you've been watching TV for several hours during the day, and if you're getting up every commercial break, you've gotten yourself a pretty darn good workout in. While you're watching TV, you're probably not even realizing that you're getting a great workout in. So that is a helpful tip as well, okay? Whether you have diabetes or not, is to get moving. All right, let's see where we are at now. So just as a recap, what we have discussed tonight with your COVID-19 plan to help you out if you're diabetic at home or know someone that has diabetes. 1, know your numbers. So that's the number to your doctor, your endocrinologist, your diabetes educator if you have one, the hospital, your pharmacist. Have those numbers on hand ready to go just in case there is an event or an emergency and you need to get in contact with them. Number 2, stock up. Keep your meds in good supply. Ask for that refill early. Get a 90-day supply if at all possible. Don't forget to stock up on those diabetes testing supplies, test strips, lancets, rubbing alcohol, so that you can not have to be burdened or stressed about running out of your supplies. If you're having financial difficulties getting your meds, by all means, reach out to your doctor, reach out to your pharmacist. If you're on insulin, check out www.insulinhelp.org and get some tips on how you can get your insulin at free or reduced cost to you. Tip number 3 was to be food secure. Don't wait till the last minute to get your groceries, do a delivery service, ask a friend, a family member, or a neighbor. When you do grocery shop, make sure that you shop as healthy as you can. Eat healthy, but eat happy. So make sure you get stuff that you like, but make sure that you are not stocking up on a lot of refined carbohydrates, sugars, such as that high fructose corn syrup, because that will increase your blood sugars. Monitor your overeating, because we know we're in the front of the television a lot these days. Make sure you're not vegging out, because that mentality tends to lead to overeating and eating of the wrong foods. Number 5, get your body in motion. Make sure you are doing something to move your body each and every day. Tip number 6, Don't forget your teeth. I know it's kind of like, duh, but this is important. A lot of us are not necessarily going into the office, so we may not be getting dressed up like we used to. It does not mean this is a substitute or a time to forego good hygiene, okay? Especially for diabetics, your oral health is extremely important. Increased blood sugars, okay, can lead to the development of gum disease, and gum disease can lead to infection. And we all know, whether you're in healthcare or not, but for those of us that have studied this, infection inside the body of a diabetic wreaks havoc on your blood sugar. So make sure that you are taking care of your oral health. Brush those teeth twice a day. Make sure that you floss. Most cavities actually start in the spaces actually in between your teeth that are so small that the toothbrush can't get there, but dental floss can reach. So make sure that you are brushing and flossing twice a day. If you're having a dental issue, call your dentist. Now, I know a lot of dentists have been ordered to stay at home, so I'm not sure how that's working out. It's kind of hard to do a telehealth visit with a dentist, but you never know. They may have at least a hotline or something that you can call. I know some dentists are allowed only to just do emergency visits only, but by all means, if you have a toothache, anything of that nature, please call your dentist, okay? Otherwise, brush and floss twice a day. Tip number 7, don't forget your feet. I would show you my feet, but y'all know that we're on lockdown and I haven't seen my lovely nail tech. Oh my goodness, I miss her. So my feet are looking terrible, so I'm not going to show you my feet. But if you are a diabetic or know someone that is, make sure, ask them, say, hey, have you checked your feet recently? How are your feet doing? Make sure you keep those feet clean, keep them dry as best you can. Keep them moisturized, but very, very important not to allow moisture to build up in those spaces in between your toes. So what we call our intertriginous areas, okay? That is a breeding ground for fungus and yeast. They like it dark, they like it warm, and they like it moist. And your feet are a perfect breeding ground for that, particularly, again, if you're diabetic. Again, with poor glycemic control, meaning your blood sugars are out of control, that will increase your risk for infection. That includes fungus and yeast. So make sure you check between your toes, keep them clean and dry. Now is not the time to be busting out your Ginsu knives and trying to shave your corns down and clip your toenails, particularly if you've had a history of diabetic foot ulcers, or if you actively have a foot infection right now. I do not recommend that. You need to have those feet looked at by a doctor or a podiatrist, especially if you've had a history of ulcers, because all it's going to take is one false move or a slip with a sharp pair of clippers, and then you've introduced some bacteria and infection into your feet, and then that can cause the spread of infection and get a nasty foot infection. Tip number 8, socialize safely. If at all possible, do what we're doing right now. We'll just be on social media, jump in a Zoom room, FaceTime, that type of thing, video chat. But if someone does have to come into your home, if you have diabetes or your loved one has diabetes, maybe grandma or grandpa does, maybe you are a multi-generational household and you've got multiple people of various ages underneath your house, and sometimes people have to come in and out. Make sure they are wearing a mask and make sure they wash their hands by all means. Maybe someone is bringing grandma's groceries over to help her out so she doesn't have to go out. Make sure they're wearing a mask, and please, let's make sure the mask actually covers our nose and our mouth, not just our mouth, because that's very important. Also, that might mean seeing your doctor via telemedicine or telehealth visits. I know I'm offering that to my patients right now, so we can limit our face-to-face contact. Reach out to your doctor if your doctor hasn't already done so, because chances are they are implementing telehealth strategies. And last but not least, ask for help. It is okay to ask for help. Ask for help when you need it. If you are struggling, if you are depressed, if you're frustrated, if you're angry, if you're worried, a lot of people are dealing with loneliness right now, feeling overwhelmed, not sure how to cope with everything that is coming down on them. dealing with COVID in of itself without having a chronic condition such as diabetes is hard enough as it is. But now having diabetes on top of that and having to care for oneself can be extra stressful. So make sure that you reach out. Family is a great resource. If you have a good close friend, maybe you have religious affiliation with a church or a mosque or a synagogue, reaching out to one of your religious leaders for help. Certainly ask your doctor or your primary care doctor. We're a great source of information. I'm pretty sure most of us, I know I am, would be happy to help you out. Hey there! Wisdom for Well-Beings is in the house. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. But by all means, do not try to go about this alone. So, just as a recap, thank you so much for watching. I am Dr. Rene, MD, your board-certified family medicine physician. We had a conversation tonight about diabetes home care during COVID-19. Maybe you have diabetes or you know someone that does. How are you going to care for yourself or your loved one at home with diabetes? So we came up with some great solutions. As a quick recap, get your diabetes COVID-19 game plan. Number one, know your numbers. So the number to your doctor, to your pharmacist, your endocrinologist if you have one, your diabetes educator, your hospital, and obviously know your blood sugar numbers. Number two, stock up on your medication. Ask for that refill early. Get your 90-day supply. Have those medications delivered to your home if need be to reduce stress and worry about having to get access to your medications. Keep your diabetes testing supplies stocked up as well. If you're having financial difficulty getting your medication, particularly insulin, be sure to check out www.insulinhelp.org to get assistance with getting free or reduced cost insulin. Number three, be food secure. So don't wait until the last minute to grocery shop. Ask for help, get that grocery delivery if need be. Make sure that you are putting good food, healthy food into your cart. Fresh is best. If you can't do fresh, then we go to frozen. If at all possible, try to stay away from the canned goods. I know that's a little contradictory to what other people are saying. Let's face it, the apocalypse has not happened. We are still here. You can keep those canned goods as a last resort, but if at all possible, you want to eat as healthy as you can, because the moment that food sits on the shelf, it has been pumped full of something that is probably not good for you or going to help your blood sugars. Let's see here. Wisdom for Well-Being says, are those testers at Mariano's, for example, reliable enough to use as a way to check ourselves? What testers are you talking about? Are you talking about blood pressure or blood sugar? If you could just type in, if you're still tuning in, Wisdom for Well-Beings. I just need some clarification. What tester are you referring to? I'll see if I can answer your question. Tip number 4, monitor your overeating. We're Netflixing, we're watching a lot of television, and that tends to promote the veg out mentality. Let me just sit here and inhale a bag of chips or Oreos, and that is just going to lead to increased calories and increase in your blood sugar. You're talking about like the blood pressure monitors. Okay, so that is going to depend on where you're at. Hopefully those places, like the ones at Mariano's, I know Walgreens does it, CVS does it. Hopefully they monitor them and they recalibrate those blood pressure machines. I've heard mixed stories. Some people say, oh, it's accurate. Some people say it's not accurate. I think the best thing you can do, if you have not checked your blood pressure at all, you don't have any means of checking your blood pressure, at home, like you don't have a home blood pressure kit, then stick your arm in there and get your blood pressure checked, but take it with a grain of salt. If you have a home blood pressure monitor, my recommendation is that you compare the two. You certainly can use the one at like a grocery store or a pharmacy, but then I would still go home at some point in time that day and make sure that you check your blood pressure again, because if you're getting really large discrepancy in numbers, then someone's machine is off, either your home your home blood pressure machine or the one at the store. Now, that being said, do we need a quick primer on proper way to take your blood pressure? I always tell people, my nose is itching. Tell people what we don't do is we don't stand up on our feet, run around, and then sit down all of a sudden and say, let me go take my blood pressure. Because your blood pressure is naturally going to be a little bit higher because your body had to pump blood, all the way from your legs all the way up to your heart so that your legs can move. The proper way to take a blood pressure, You're sitting down comfortably, both feet firmly planted on the ground, okay? Legs are not crossed, that type of thing. That's the best way to take a blood pressure. If you know that you've been standing up a long time, you've been walking around, if you were frantic, got cut off in traffic, whatever, you just got upset at somebody or angry, sit down and relax for a few minutes. Let yourself woosah and calm down. Then check that blood pressure. Okay. Tip number 5 was to get in motion. So move your body, do some type of physical activity, even if it's 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, the more the merrier. Because remember, physical activity increases your blood circulation, increases your blood flow. That increased blood flow is going to bring oxygen and nutrients to your tissues, okay? Which is very beneficial whether you have diabetes or not. The other great benefit with exercise is to remember that exercise helps our body burn off that stored form of sugar, what we call glycogen, okay? If your body has enough glycogen stored up, but yet you're still eating calories and taking in sugar, if it doesn't need it, guess what it does? It undergoes a biochemical reaction and actually turns that sugar into fat. I know, it's not fair. It's not fair. But that's just science and biochemistry, and that's what happens. So make sure you're doing something to move your body. No gym, no problem. Use what you have at home. Climb stairs, do squats, do lunges, sit-ups, push-ups, jumping jacks. If you have weights, use those. If you don't, I always keep gallon jugs of water in my house. That way, if the water goes out, I got some extra water, but 2, I can get a workout in using the water jugs. You can work your biceps, your triceps, work on your deltoids, your shoulders to get a nice workout in at home. All right, tip number 6 was, ding, your pearly whites. Don't forget your teeth, okay? Remember, diabetics, if your blood sugar is not controlled, that increases your risk for gum disease, which increases your risk for infection, which makes your blood sugars go up. So make sure you're brushing and flossing twice a day. If you're having a dental emergency, do not ignore that. Call your dentist, okay? And see how they can be of assistance to you. Tip 7, make sure you check your feet. I'm not showing you mine because I haven't had a pedicure in like 2 months and my feet look crazy. But make sure if you are a diabetic, you keep your feet clean, keep them dry, keep them moisturized. But remember I said, do not allow moisture to collect in between the intertriginous areas, that's the skin between your toes, because that is a breeding ground for fungus and yeast. And you do not want to be developing a fungal foot infection, what we call tinea pedis, okay? Number 8, socialize safely. If you have to have someone over your house, maybe someone's dropping off groceries or medicine or that type of thing, make sure they're smart about it. Make sure they're wearing a mask. That mask needs to cover the nose as well as the mouth, not just down here, because stuff can still fly out your nose. But make sure you're wearing a mask that covers your nose and your mouth. Make sure everyone is washing their hands, okay? Especially if you're going to have any contact with any food or anything's coming towards your mouth, you have to wash those hands. By all means, if you need to see your doctor, most doctors are doing telemedicine visits, so reach out to your doctor to see if you can have a visit that way. And last but not least, ask for help. It is okay. If you need help. This is a stressful time. It's unique times that we're in. It is stressful enough just having to deal with coronavirus, less alone having coronavirus and diabetes. So if you are feeling stressed, if you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're feeling lonely, if you feel like I'm about to lose it, I can't do this anymore, by all means reach out. Ask your significant other, your spouse. If you don't have one of those, then you ask a friend. You can ask religious clergy, pastors. You can certainly reach out to your doctor. If you are getting to the point that you are like, I'm about to lose my mind, if you're feeling suicidal, by all means, you can call the National Suicide Hotline. There are resources out there for you. So that's a lot of information to cover, but I thank you so much for tuning in. Again, I am Dr. Rene, an MD, medical doctor, board certified family medicine physician. Thank you so much for tuning in to my very first Instagram Live. I hope you guys enjoyed this information. I think with Instagram Live, this will be available for the next 24 hours. So if you enjoyed this information, you can hit the heart button. I guess that's how we do this on Instagram. Put comments in. If you didn't like it, that's cool too. Let me know what you didn't like about it so I know how I can grow. By all means, share this with other folks. You can point them to my Instagram page. It's at Dr. Rene MD. That's DrRenemD. I will be coming live again this week. Tuesday night, I believe, will be the next night. I'm going to be talking about COVID-19 and obesity. So that is going to be a good topic. Still finishing up some research for that now, but I want to have a conversation about that. Thank you, Wisdom for Weight Loss. Oh, I love you. She's so sweet. She said, so glad that you are doing these lives. Well, it's about time. I was actually trying to simultaneously live stream tonight with Facebook and Instagram. And girl, it's a long story. I think my laptop is about to be hanging in the Smithsonian. It's so old because I had issues again. So I'm like, okay. It's time. I need to upgrade my laptop. So, Olga, thank you so much. Thank you for all your information. You are so welcome. Oh my goodness. Tell your daughters I said hello. I went to high school with her eldest daughter. I love Sandy. She's so sweet. Tell her I love her. Tell her to watch next time. I know she's probably busy, but thank you so much for tuning in. So Tuesday night, it'll be obesity and COVID, okay? Hopefully Thursday night, I'm trying to get my guest lined up. Okay, so I should have a guest speaker for you. And then let's see, Friday, I'm actually doing a joint live stream, but it's on Facebook with one of my super friends who is a naturopathic doctor, Dr. Ferlandi, former bodybuilder. I mean, she's awesome. She does a lot of health and wellness. And so we are going to be having a discussion called Food Freedom Fridays. We have a joint live stream that we are doing now together to help people who need to have a healthier relationship with food. Let's see, Wisdom for Weight Loss, what time? Okay, so I'm not sure which one you're referring to. Tuesday evening, it will be 7 p.m. Central Standard Time for the obesity and COVID-19 talk. I will be putting out promos, of course, on social media, both Facebook, LinkedIn, and here on Instagram, so you'll be aware of that. But Tuesday at 7 p.m. Thursday will probably also be 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Fridays is 7 p.m. Central Standard Time for Food Freedom Fridays, joint live stream with myself and Dr. Ferlandi. That was awesome. My replay is actually on my Facebook page at Dr. Rene. So that is my Facebook fan page if you want to see the replay from the Food Freedom Friday. That was our first one we just did this past Friday. It was actually quite good. I'm not tooting my own horn, but I think it's good because it's a much needed topic. There's a lot of people that struggle with having a healthy relationship with food. So I've partnered with Dr. Ferlandi to do that. But by all means, share, let people know. If people are not following Dr. Rene and you think they should, well then tell them, hey boo, I have someone that I think you would be interested in following, and I'll be sure to deliver great content to all of you. The YouTube channel is coming. It's up and running. Not everything is up there now, so I am on YouTube. I'll have a YouTube channel. Eventually we'll be live streaming from that as well. Isn't technology wonderful? I just need to upgrade my laptop because I got burnt again tonight during my joint live stream. So thank you guys so much for your time tonight. Thank you for tuning in. I love all of you. I appreciate you tuning in. Take care of yourselves. We will get through this. I know it's summertime. I know we're trying to get out. I'm so sad that summer's getting canceled left and right here in Chicago, but this too shall pass and we will get through it. So thank you all for your time. You have a wonderful evening, and I will be sure to, hopefully I will see you this coming week. Bye-bye.